Okay, today in Algebra 2, I told you I was doing something a little bit different. So what I decided to do here is go back to chapter 1 a little bit and review some basic factoring. So basically, we've got a couple different problems here, and they are set equal to 0. But what do you do when you have an x squared in problems like this? Well, the answer to that is you have to factor. So I'm going to look at this. I'm going to say it has a leading coefficient of 1. So I'm going to see if I can factor this. So I'm going to look at negative 81. And I'm going to see what the factors of it are. So I know that would be a 9 and a negative 9. That would be an 18 and a 9 times 2 is 18. Oh, I'm trying to remember this. Actually, no, I think it wouldn't be. It would be not 18. It would be 27 and 3. So 27 and negative 3 and 27. And it would also be negative 81 and 1 and positive 81 and 1. Okay, so for this, I need to find what adds together to equal my positive 24. I know it's not going to be this one. I know it's not going to be either of these. And as you can tell, oh, this should be a negative 27. And a positive 3. Anyways, as you can tell, you know it's going to be the 27 and the 3, because 27 minus 3 gives me a positive 24. So I'm going to write this as x plus 27 times x minus 3. And now from here, all we do for solving this is we set this up and we say x plus 27 equals 0, minus 27, minus 27, x equals negative 27, and then we can do x minus 3 equals 0, plus 3, plus 3, x equals positive 3. So we have our two options there for solving that. Plug it back in, make sure they both work, always check your work. Okay, now when we look over at this next problem, you can see they both share an x. So this is a different type of factoring. It's not factoring a quadratic per se. Well, it is a quadratic, but it's not factoring in the way that we did this over here. Here, I'm just taking out the greatest common factor. So I'm going to take an x out of both of these. I'm going to have x times x plus 3 equals 0. Well, at this point, a lot of people like to say, oh, cool, I know I can do the x plus 3 equals 0. So subtract 3, subtract 3. X equals negative 3. Bam, we're done. However, one of the main things that people forget is you have to set all factors equal to 0. I set one factor, I have to also set the other, so I have to say that x also equals 0. Okay, and then finally I want to review the quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation was derived as a way to solve any quadratic that is unfactorable. It can solve ones that are factorable. I'm going to tell you this, I could at least make an attempt to factor this. Actually, no, I could factor this pretty decently, but since I'm gonna have you solve it, so I'm gonna put an equals 0 here, I'm gonna show you a way that helps with some of the guesswork if you're gonna sit here and go, how do I set this up? What do I multiply by what? What's a greatest common factor? So if you don't remember all of that, there's a formula for you, which is probably just as hard. However, sometimes you can't factor them, so the formula helps. And it is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of that over 2a. Now, there are a lot of ways of using the discriminant, which is was under the square root sign. It's ways of saying, yes, there are factors to it. No, there aren't any factors to it. It's all real numbers. So what I'm going to show you is basically just how to solve with this. So we have to set this up, and we have to find our a, our b, and our c. So a equals 2, b equals 7, and c equals 5. I'm going to go ahead and plug it right in. So I'm going to put negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared minus 4 times 2. I put c equals 5. 4 times 2 times 5. All of that divided by 2 times 2. Okay, I'm going to move down as I simplify, so I'm going to do negative 7 plus or minus square root of 49 minus 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 5 is 40, all of that divided by 4. Again, 49 minus 40 is 9, so negative 7 plus or minus square root of 9 over 4. I know the square root of 9 is 3. I know you know the square root of 9 is 3. So this is negative 7 plus or minus 3 divided by 4. So I'm going to split this up. I'm going to move it up here. So negative 7 plus 3 divided by 4. And then I'm going to bring it over here. Negative 7 minus 3 divided by 4. That's negative 4 divided by 4, which gives me a negative 1. And this is negative 10 divided by 4, which gives me a, both are divisible by 2, so negative 5 over 2. So as you can see, I got 2 answers there. Do not forget at this point to split it, because that is the main thing with the quadratic, is a lot of people will forget. A lot of people will stop there and be like, I can't do it, and they give up. But don't forget, at this point, it's just some basic algebra. It's really just some basic subtraction, multiplication stuff. So you guys can do this. That's a review of the quadratic equation and some review of basic factoring. I will see you guys on Monday for the last day of your review. I have decided that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I am splitting up your test so that it's going to be shorter chunks at a time, which means that you need to log in all 3 of those days to take your exams, but I am trying to make it no more than 10 to 15 questions a day. You will have no other assignment that day. There will be no video to watch. There will just be a little encouraging note from me to just kind of get in, get it done. So it's 10 to 15 questions, no more than that. And that will be the end of your test. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, log in, make sure you're taking those tests. Log in Monday for one final little review and one final little encouragement from me. I will see you guys next week.